AI coins give us the opportunity to potentially 20 to 50x our investments in a very short time frame, especially as we're heading towards the end of the cycle. The reason I say this is because artificial intelligence as a category is valued at $33 billion. And I want to remind you guys that last cycle, Doge alone reached a valuation of around $88 billion. I can't quite get to the tip of that, but we got $75 billion showing up on screen. So that should give you a nice comparison to how early we are on the AI game. Now in this video, I'm going to go over protocols and AI plays that I think are going to make some insane gains this cycle, simply because the AI bubble is still so tiny and yet to run. Actually, if we take a look at the AI index right here, we can see that we have just barely gotten started. We had a breakout and then a retest, and now the real run is starting. This is just the beginning run of what's to come, as I do think towards the end of the cycle, we're going to see anywhere between $240 to $300 billion as a valuation for the AI cycle at the end of this. And you can see we've got a lot of room to run towards the upside. Now, there is a discrepancy between TradingView showing 51 billion and AI showing 32 billion. I'm more inclined to go with the valuation on CoinGecko because they do index AI projects more diligently than TradingView does. But nonetheless, that is still a long way to go towards the targets I'm eyeing for this cycle. And if you guys watch my channel regularly, you guys know there are three sectors that I'm eyeing for this cycle. That's AI, memes, and DeFi. And compared to all of them, AI is the smallest. So to kick us off, I'm going to take a look at virtuals because it is the number one protocol I think that has the most upside, especially with the agents built within it. And it ran to about $5 billion at the end of last year extremely quickly and has managed to consolidate around 1 billion to 800 million currently. So take a look at that chart right here, and as you guys can see, we have an ABC correction showing us that potentially this correction is done and we're ready for the next leg up. And it actually lines up with this chart right here showing us that we have all-time highs imminent on the AI index, and virtuals shouldn't be too far behind as we begin to make highs in the coming weeks. Now, what I want to focus on is the fundamentals of virtuals as well, because they're working on something called ACP. As you guys can see up there, they've got an ACP tab for all their agents, and what ACP basically is it creates an ecosystem where agents can communicate with each other and creates an economy, a swarm, where each specialized agent can talk to each other and help each other. So there doesn't need to be one agent that does everything. Instead, you have one agent that specializes in something very specific, like Mammal, for example, is a DeFi agent that generates yield for you, and he can connect with Vader, which is a AI hedge fund manager, and talk to each other if they want to facilitate some kind of portfolio that relies on heavy yield generation. Now, the reason this is important is because I think AI is going to be taking over the blockchain space. I think AI is going to be the primary user of blockchain and not humans. And the great thing is that it simplifies blockchain activity for humans. So if I'm looking for yield, I can simply go to Mamo, and at a click of a button, instead of searching for yields myself across many different chains, Mamo does the work for me, and I simply click stake or generate yield, and Mamo will do the work for me. Now, there's a lot more that goes into ACP, but that would take me a whole video. I'm just giving you guys the basics. But I do want to segue to one of the key players in the ACP framework, which is Loki. And the reason why I'm picking Loki as one of the AI agents that I'm taking a look at for this cycle is because this is an agentic era where we're seeing agents pop off left and right. We've got a few of them that are over $100 million market cap, and we've got more running. And the reason why Loki, I think, is important is because if AI agents become a primary interface to crypto, they're going to need data. And right now, Loki, as you guys can see in the description, is powering autonomous agents with smart wallets, real-time bots, dashboards, all through one united permissionless data layer. And every single agent requires data. So the more agents that are out there, the more that are successful, the more are going to rely on Loki. And Loki is providing this data. So if you're betting and bullish on AI agents on crypto, then Loki should be a pretty easy pick because all agents need data. And Loki also has scalable network effects, which means the more devs that integrate with Loki, the more volume it'll have, which means it has better models, and it becomes harder to replace because it builds a moat. And right now, the revenue is kind of non-existent, but we're assuming that changes the more success ACP sees, or the more success agentic AI sees within crypto. And since crypto is all about speculation, you guys can assume that a lot of people are going to be betting on this narrative as soon as AI takes off right here, along with Tau, along with virtuals. And I think it's at a pretty good spot right now. You can see we just bounced off that $969,000 level all the way up to about 3 million. We're seeing a pullback now. I wouldn't be surprised to see it back at 1.8 and then continue the move up, especially as virtuals is beginning its move up as well. Here we talked about this break. You guys can see all we need to see right now is a break of about 1 billion for us to start the new leg up along with all the AI agents on base as well, because they do tend to follow virtuals. Even AI XBT has that same structure as virtuals because it is following virtuals. And if it continues following this pattern, then we'll probably see a break at the end of August towards the upside. Now I'm going to move on to another agent on the virtuals platform, and that is Shekele. And Shekele is a trading agent launchpad. They've created a framework empowering users to create fully autonomous, personalized trading agents. Now, this is a narrative I think is going to go hard later in the cycle. And essentially what they allow you to do is they give you the tools to build an agent, and then you prompt the agent with the strategies you want to do and allow your agents to execute them without emotion. And I think that's the key part there, is that there will be no emotion involved in AI. And I think as soon as we get one success story of a big account deploying $1 million on their chain and sees 60% returns or 30% returns, that's where the narrative is going to heat up. We just need to see one success story and this narrative is going to take off. But it is one of the better platforms out there for agent launchpads. I would take a close look at them because they are growing extremely fast. And from what I've seen, they're the ones at the cutting edge of what they're doing. And if you take a look at their current dashboard right there, they're currently managing $354,000 at $4 million market cap. I would expect this to grow as time goes on and more people start testing them. They are still in beta, so people don't trust the AI agents quite yet too much to handle big sums of money. But as time goes on and they improve on the framework, I would assume this will grow along with their market cap. There's also a 30% of the supply locked for staking. So as a narrative, as a chart, as a tech, I think this goes a lot higher towards the $100 to $200 million range in the next 3 to 6 months. This is why I'm paying attention to AI as a tech. I think it has a lot of room to grow, with technology right here sitting at $3 million, very undervalued, and is up about 100% in the last month. Now let's move on to Creator Bid. This is the competitor to virtuals, and I am more bullish on virtuals, but there are some opportunities on Creator Bid that I'm more interested in. And specifically, I'm more interested on deking right here. And the reason being is because of the narrative behind this. Now, as you guys can see, this is a AI agent leveraging collective intelligence to process sports infinite variables. So this is an AI agent focusing on sports betting. And I found this article on Unsupervised Capital, if you guys want to check it out, that outlines the bullish case for this token as well as the risks. And they've got a pretty stacked team. As you guys can see, the core team here is an AI entrepreneur, former founder of CrunchDAO, JP Morgan Quant, mathematics PhD at Stanford, so on and so forth. And if we scroll down here, we can see the key reasons for investing is their experienced and well-connected team, with the highlight being Max has assembled one of the strongest and most professional teams we've seen in the subnet ecosystem. So subnets run on Tau BitTensor, which is a coin that I'm extremely bullish on going towards the end of the cycle. And this is simply a beta play on Tau, which deking runs on. So as a narrative, I like what I'm seeing with DraftKings, but also as price action alone, I also like what I'm seeing here. Yes, we have that drop to about $2 to $3 million, well, the whole market dropped. The most important thing here is that we traded sideways for the time being when the market was in a downfall and trying to recover. And after we recovered, we actually pushed up to about 22 million. The only thing I would have liked to see here for more strength was breaking the all-time high, which we didn't do. But it looks like we're on the way to doing that now with the migration. So if you guys don't know, deking is migrating to Sire because of legality and branding issues, which might cause some short-term volatility. It might be a buy the rumor, sell the news. So for me, I'm not currently in this coin. I would like to buy this coin, but I would have to see us drop to about 11, 12 for me to get a buy-in. I don't really like buying things after they've pumped 100%. So I'm going to have to wait and see how this turns out. However, let's go back to the key reasons for investing here. You guys can see they've also highlighted a well-defined revenue stream and product value proposition. And the important thing here to note is that Score's partnership with the sports betting hedge fund indicates there's a demand from these markets, which is really important to see, because without demand, there's no revenue. And it mentions that 4 of the 5 subnets by market cap are product focused. So they've got a tangible use case. Score stands out for its clarity and reliability, unlike many subnets that are highly technical and abstract. So some of the risks here you can see is holder centralization. One entity holds a large amount of subnet 44, and that can create a negative perception for people because they're not so willing to hold on to this. However, they've mentioned that based on their conversation, they believe that their incentives are aligned with long-term success of the subnet, so less likely to see dumpage there. And another thing here that they currently haven't built out is no structural demand for the token, but the team plans to change that by integrating buy and burn mechanism using revenue generated by Score technologies. And the good thing here is that they do have revenue stream, as they've mentioned, at the key reasons for investing. So as soon as they implement their structural change, that should fix this issue right there. But there's a lot more to take a look at on this article, and I'll leave a description down below for those of you who want to dive deeper. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. But to summarize so far, deking is one AI I'm looking to accumulate to ride to the higher levels. I do think we can see this run up to the $100 to $200 million range in the future, quite easily actually. And I wouldn't be surprised to see even 300 million as we get later into the cycle. But I do think as a conservative bet, 1 to 200 million is easily doable for this coin. For Loki, we're going to have to see how the ACP framework progresses as time goes on. But again, like I said, if we begin to see the AI agent space blow up, which can happen any day now, then I would expect price appreciation to take place here very, very quickly. And as for Shekele, we can already see the price moving towards the upside. And as the AI index begins making higher highs and Tau begins to move higher high, I expect all these AI agents to begin repricing along with virtuals as they are beta plays to virtuals. And with that said, finally, I'm looking for AIXBT to revisit this $1 billion at the very least towards the end of the cycle, if not higher. Now, if you guys want to see more deep dives into AI projects, let me know specifically what you want to see. As for now, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys on the next one.